I love diving deep into relationships with all of you, so let's talk about Love is Blind, the final episode. So there's a lot of wedding planning happening, and while the excitement is real, I'm going to shift us toward a bit of a reality check. Hi, I'm Dr. Pam, therapist and passionate relationship counselor. And quickly, before we jump in, drop me a comment and tell me what other shows you'd like me to do a Therapist Reacts video on. Okay, so for today's video, I do have to say that I feel a little bit like a Debbie Downer. But there's something about relationships and deciding to marry that a lot of people simply are not aware of, and honestly, it's too important to ignore. And actually, Sara's sister said it best when she described the beginning of a relationship and falling in love with just 3 little words. I promise I'll share them with you in just a minute, but first, I do want to set things up a bit so that when you hear those 3 words, you're not only going to feel the weight of what she said, but you're also going to understand why they matter so much in the bigger picture. Along the way, I'm also going to break down projection and idealization in dating because everyone does it, we all do it. The key is recognizing when it's happening so you can manage it instead of letting it shape your choices. And of course, we all know that Love is Blind is a heavily edited show, and my comments are based solely on what is shown. And this isn't about judging anyone on the show, it's about learning from their experiences, for which I really am grateful. So let's start with the moment when Sara introduces Ben to her sister and her sister's partner. And after a few minutes, Ben steps away to give them a chance to talk privately. And during that conversation, Sara's sister and her partner express some concerns, and Sara responds with this.
It made me feel like so special, and I felt energized, loved, and important. He has such a kind heart. He's literally someone who is self-intuitive, fun, laughs at my jokes, spontaneous. He's like spice of life, like cup half full. It's someone who's emotionally intelligent.
Notice the intensity Sara is using to describe Ben. I see this kind of intensity all the time when someone falls in love. Love at the beginning of a relationship, it's like a drug, and you can't reason with someone who's under the influence of this drug. Let's call it a love drug. It's intense, it's powerful, and it clouds rational thinking and reason. And she continues, let's watch.
And that's like literally everything that Ben is, like driven. I love the person he is. It's so crazy to say because I know it's fast, but I could honestly see myself saying yes.
That intensity from the love drug can create a strong desire to get married because you are fantasizing about your future together.
For you to try my dad's steak, and then I can't wait to try your dad's steak.
Have a steak off.
Each other's steak. We're big, one happy family.
The fantasy begins very early in a relationship, and it's not just something we see on Love is Blind, it happens all the time. When you feel like you have found your person and you're swept up in that intensity, it is so easy to believe that everything you're experiencing will last forever. And of course, you want the feeling to last forever. It is completely natural to want to build a future around those feelings. And when you decide to marry, next comes the excitement of the wedding planning. There's learning how to dance together, practicing every step so you can share a beautiful, unforgettable first dance at your wedding. There's dress shopping, where you're surrounded by family and friends, and it feels like stepping into a moment you've dreamed about maybe your whole life. There's taking engagement photos, capturing those early magical feelings where it's all so exciting and so full of hopes and dreams. I promise I'm going to get to Sara's sister's 3 words. I just want to break this down a little bit more so it makes more sense when we get there.
It's just how I
They're
feel.
so beautiful.
It's just how Same.
Yeah, it seems like a lifetime
That was
ago.
the best.
Cheers to our first igloo adventure.
Yeah.
Dating can feel magical, especially when you find someone you fall in love with and suddenly all of your everyday worries fade into the background. You feel seen, you're showing up as your best self, and you're just enjoying the ride. Falling in love while dating can almost feel like a mini vacation from real life. And don't forget, you're also under the influence of that love drug, which is an incredible high. Okay, Sara's sister's 3 words. Here they are.
It's not real right now.
Sarah's sister says it's not real, and honestly, she is spot on. She's trying to reason with someone, Sara, who's essentially high on the love drug, and of course, they don't want that feeling to end. But there's something else that Sarah's doing here, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But first, let's break down what her sister really means by it's not real. She's not saying the feelings aren't genuine because they are, and she acknowledges that right here.
I see that you have a strong connection, but I caution you, as your sister, it's not real right now.
What she means is that what's happening isn't grounded yet. It's not based on shared life experience, on time, or true understanding of each other. It's real emotion, but it's not yet a real relationship built on depth, stability, tested trust, and connection. It's still unfolding, and right now, it's mostly fueled by chemistry, hope, and projection. And I'll talk about what projection in the beginning of a relationship is, but what she's saying is that this stage, the rush, the intensity, the idealization, it isn't the full picture of love. It's just not grounded in reality, day-to-day compatibility, or long-term connection. Okay, so let's talk about two very important things that happen in the beginning of a relationship: projection and idealizing.
Ben is everything I've hoped for in a lifelong partner. He is so kind, selfless, he's caring, he's empathetic, he's a caretaker, he's genuine, he's funny, he's goofy. I can't imagine my life without Ben now.
This is projection and idealizing. Projection and idealizing often show up hand in hand when we're dating and falling in love, but they're not quite the same. Projection is when we unconsciously place our own hopes, fears, or unmet needs onto the other person. You might be seeing parts of who they are, but you're also filling in the blanks with pieces of your past, what you wish they'll be, or what you are afraid they might become. Idealization, on the other hand, is when we get swept up in the emotional high of new love and start seeing the other person as perfect, flawless, magical, everything we've ever dreamed of. It's driven by excitement and hope, and while it's a completely normal part of early love, it can make it hard to see the full, real human in front of you. Earlier, I showed you a clip of Sara talking about Ben with so much hope, joy, and excitement, but now we see her here at the reunion, feeling very differently. And the truth is, no one could have convinced her back then that she might end up feeling this way about him.
Been a year. Do you feel that this whole process with Ben was rehearsed in a way?
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't authentic, and I fell for it the whole time. I felt like I was completely love bombed. I totally fell for it.
Both projection and idealization are part of how we fall in love. But to build something lasting, we have to learn to look beyond the version we've created in our minds and start seeing the other person as they truly are. And I'll say more about how to move through this stage in a minute. But projection, for example, is if you've always wanted to feel deeply understood. You might meet someone who gives you a little attention or asks thoughtful questions, and you suddenly project the idea that they are emotionally safe, reliable, and the one. You're not fully seeing them, though. You're seeing what you want to see in them. Like I said, you're seeing a part of them, but you're not seeing all of them. And it can go the other way, too. If you've been hurt before, you might assume this new person will eventually abandon you or betray you. Even if they've shown no signs of that, you're projecting past pain onto someone in the present.
To be treated so nicely and just be with somebody I feel like has such a pure heart and pure intentions. Yeah, I just feel grateful.
This is a clear example of idealizing. I found myself wondering, what does she really mean when she says that he has a pure heart and pure intentions? Those are meaningful qualities, but they're also vague and need to be explored over time. So here's the takeaway. Please please, please remember that only some of what you're feeling in the early stages of a relationship are real. The emotions are real, but they have not yet been based on the full picture of who this person is.
But I chose to trust Ben. Knowing what I know now about Ben, a TikTok like that makes sense. I'm not surprised.
So how do you move through projection and idealizing? It starts with awareness. Be aware of projection and idealizing. And also be curious about whether you're seeing the person or just your hopes, fears, or past experiences reflected onto them. And know that it's completely normal to start noticing the cracks, the flaws, and the differences in each of you as time goes on. That doesn't mean the relationship is doomed. It means it's becoming real. If you expect those moments to come and you're both willing to move through them with honesty, openness, and care, that's when true connection and long-term love can actually begin. I always tell people that I counsel, wait at least 2 years before making a major life decision together. 3 is even better. That's when you'll start to see each other more clearly and realistically. Patterns begin to unfold and trust may even be tested. And like I always say, the most important indicator of a healthy relationship isn't how great things feel in the beginning. It's how the two of you show up to handle conflict. Because how someone shows up in moments of tension reveals everything: their emotional maturity, their self-awareness, their willingness to reflect, and their capacity to do the hard but necessary work of building a lasting relationship. Well, that is a wrap on Love is Blind. So if you found today's tips helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on love, relationships, and personal growth. I will be reviewing and reacting to new shows, so stay tuned. See you next time.